Police officers are often given access into the private lives of each and every one of us. This access comes with an unspoken expectation of trust that officers will perform their duties in a just and honest manner. But this doesn't always happen. Police misconduct is an issue we've been facing for some time. And it includes illegal activities, unethical actions, and even violations of individuals' constitutional rights. Some of the examples of police misconduct are police brutality, coercion, fraud, abuse of authority, torture to force confessions, and worse. Body cameras on law enforcement have the ability to provide documentation of incidents as it occurred when officers respond to incidents, and gives juries an accurate depiction of what actually happened rather than taking someone's word for it. It can help alleviate some of this misconduct because it's always recording the encounters of the officers. So I'll talk about the problem, some causes, and then solutions of implementing body cameras. The problem is that over the years, police have abused their authority numerous times. Several high-profile incidents of police transgressions have rallied the cries of police culpability. An urged modification is to outfit each police officer with body-worn cameras, which will provide more undisputed evidence than any eyewitness account could ever. With all the scrutiny towards law enforcement, it seems a push towards the body-worn cameras is a step in the right direction. A Time.com article states that interest in the use of body cameras has increased since the death of Michael Brown, a teenager shot and killed by Officer Wilson in Ferguson, Missouri in 2014. Conflicting eyewitness reports and a lack of video surveillance prompted citizens all over the country to take the initiative and push for every police officer in the nation to wear these cameras while on duty. So what are the causes of police misconduct? Like why is it happening? Well, for one, stress. Police officers operate in high-stress environments. They deal with not the best people, not the best situations, and they work really long hours. So a lot of times they don't have an outlet to relieve that stress, and they tend to take it out on those they encounter, which isn't necessarily right, but it happens. It happens to the best of us. An article on AmericanConservative.com lists a few other reasons to the causes of police misconduct. And they are, for one, many departments don't provide adequate training in nonviolent solutions, such as dealing with pets. We had all those issues where police officers were shooting the dogs because they didn't have training on how to deal with those types of scenarios. The standards for what constitutes brutality and the use of force vary widely, and consequences for misconduct are minimal. So a lot of times, they just get a slap on the wrist or a talking to, maybe a reprimand, and that's about all that happens until enough stacks up. And with body cameras, it can actually record that. It can actually be proven rather than taking somebody's word for it. So if all our officers implement the use of body cameras, how will it help? Well, for one, it has the ability to promote good behavior in both officers and those they encounter. It's commonly known that people tend to behave differently and more appropriately when they're being watched or recorded. And if you didn't know that, just record someone when they're doing something and see how their behavior changes when they notice. Especially kids. If your kids are playing, talking to themselves, or singing, watch how their behavior change when you pull out your phone and start recording them. So these recording devices, they help to strengthen restraint and affability in police officers and members of society. They help to diminish violence, escalation of force utilized, and even attacks on officers who are engaging people. A study in Rialto, California, the first U.S. city to trial police body cameras, found an over 50% reduction in the total number of use of force incidents by officers when body cameras were worn. And then another study in the UK found that a 36% decrease in assaults on officers when officers were wearing the cameras. And both these sources I found on procon.org. And like I said, it just helps maintain that better behavior because people know they're being watched and they can't really get away with anything. Another solution that body cameras help is they hold police accountable for their actions, but they also help to protect them from false accusations of misconduct. Some people don't like police officers, and when they get a ticket, they really don't like them. So they go and file complaints saying they were being mean to them, or they were harassing them, they were being unprofessional. And with body cameras, it allows like the supervisor or whoever just to pull up that footage and show exactly what happened, to see if the officer was correct in his actions or if he was in the wrong. Also on pro.com, an example is that in Texas, a police officer was fired and charged with murder after body-worn camera footage emerged, which contradicted his initial statement in the shooting of an unarmed youth. Like I said, you don't have to take their word for it. He wrote one thing in his statement, but his body camera showed a whole other thing, and then he was charged for murder. Also, a quote from govtech.com from Sergeant Chandler from Kern County Sheriff's Office stated, "There have been several instances where people came to the station to file a complaint, but upon watching footage taken from the body camera admitted they were mistaken in how they remembered what occurred." So they came in, filed a complaint, saw what actually happened, and then wanted to turn down filing that complaint because they realized they were in the wrong. Lastly, something great that these body cameras give us would be it allows it to be utilized as footage for training. Like normally when an officer goes through training, it's in a safe environment and everything, so you don't get that real world experience. With body cameras, officers have the opportunity to self-evaluate from what actually transpired, and they can find different ways to improve how they handled that situation or what they could have done better. And this also helps for future officers that are still in training that haven't encountered these situations. They can see what this officer did, maybe what they could have done better or what they did great on, and they can use that for whenever they come into those instances. This alone can serve as a vital training opportunity and motivator for all future law enforcement and even the current ones. So, in conclusion, I believe that body cameras can help to protect everyone, from the officers utilizing them to the citizens they encounter every day. We should push to ensure that officers implement this nationwide. So I discussed the problem, which was police misbehavior and people tired of getting away with it. Some of the causes, which are stress, lack of training, and varying regulations. And then lastly, I talked about some of the benefits of the body cameras, which it holds everyone accountable and it's recording. So for the most part, justice will be served. Thank you.